It's
8:58. Did we sleep well? Again, did we sleep? Okay. And you've sung, so you've stretched your body and your vocal cords, and you're ready for this last leg. So good morning, everyone. For the last time. I would now like to call the meeting back to order to continue with the business of the Canadian Shield Regional Council. The first order, is there any new business? What? Helen Smith, you have your hand up. Could you go to a microphone? The one in the, here, go to Blessing's microphone. And I'm a Blessing. You are, Helen.
You might not think so after I speak.
Oh, no.
Helen Smith, I serve at East Shore Maxwell United Church here in Sault Ste. Marie. I began with the transition team and served on executive. And so I always had the minutes. I knew what was going on in this region. And as the past few months, we've had several gatherings to decide and look at the region and what we're doing. And number one, as the concern, is communication. So I have a suggestion, a recommendation, a request that all approved minutes for the executive and the commissions be posted on the website in a timely manner. I don't know that any are posted now. I've run into several problems trying to get info, and I don't think that's a difficult thing, except it's time consuming for staff.
Okay. All right. So are you making a motion? Okay. And we'll just make sure. One moment, please. I'm going to cede to our executive minister.
I'm in trouble.
No, not at all. It's actually on my to-do list already, but so there's no problem. And you can make a motion if you wish. The only issue is that there's debate that I'm involved in with the General Counsel Office about posting pastoral relations minutes because it discusses salary. And historically, as you remember at presbyteries, we always talked about salary, but if you wanted to look at the minutes of presbytery, you had to call the clerk, and now I know, just let me finish. But now if we post a pastoral relations minutes on the website, that's public for the world, and that is a concern for our legal counsel. So that is a conversation we're also having in Shining Waters right now, who is actually posting their PR minutes in current time. So that's just something we want to sort out. So I just wanted to qualify it by saying that it was already on my to-do list to discuss with the executive. So our minutes are actually on the website. The executive minutes they're 100%. I looked just during the meeting.
Really? Because I've tried.
They're 100% on the thing. So
I apologize then, but it may be depends on what device you use.
No, they're on the website under governance. Yeah, I was looking at them during the meeting. Okay. So yeah, so no, the Communities of Faith Commission minutes are not on the website, and the PR Commission's minutes are not on the website. They're actually on the website, but it's not an easy way to find them. In Shining Waters, they're under the commission. So it's different decisions of different commissions. Mm-hmm. But the executive minutes are on the website. It's actually part of the bylaws of the United Church of Canada. So I have to do it. It's not up for discussion.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so they're up there. Maybe we can make them a little easier to find, but they're up there. Yeah.
So do you want me to not move that?
Well, I guess our executive minister is telling us they are. Maybe we need some guidance in how to find them if we're having difficulty.
So they're on governance.
Okay, they're
under
under
the executive.
under governance, under executive. And governance.
Yeah, about then governance. Yeah.
Okay.
I look at them all the time, so I know they're there. So.
My
Okay.
friend Bill's going to come and help me.
Bill Stedman's going to comment.
Bill Stedman from Copper Cliff. I'm sorry, I haven't seen if John's here. I'm not the parliamentarian, but I have a suggestion for the court, for the mover, that if she wanted to make her motion, that the minutes of the executive and the minutes of all the commissions be posted in a timely manner as is legally possible. That may cover the nuance that our minister, executive minister said, and also cover what might be the intent of the court, but they have to vote on it.
Thank you, Bill. And Helen, you're
So agree.
okay. So you wish to make that motion,
Just as Bill said.
as Bill said,
But I might put approved in there, approved minutes.
the approved minutes. Yes. Okay. Is there a seconder to this motion? I see. Well, Bill shouted out. I'm going to turn to Bill only because he gave guidance. So that his name, if there's a problem, he'll get hit, Fraser. So I heard the voice, then I saw the hand. So I'm going to concede to Bill Stedman as a seconder of that motion. So now we want to open this out for discussion. So I wonder, Helen, if you could move that microphone out a bit so it's easily accessible to folk if they wish to speak to the motion. Oh, you do? Okay, thank you, Michael. Okay. Oh, here we go. Sort of yeah, right kind of near the front. So there's room for people to move around. And Helen, if people need, Helen, I'm just wondering if people can't come up to the mic, could you travel it to them? So is there anyone who wishes to speak to this motion or in this time of discussion and you have a question for clarity? Okay, now we need a scrutineer. There we go. Diana will be the scrutineer. Okay. I have a question. Can I ask the question? Okay, my question is your comment about, and I know you're seeking legal counsel that we can't because it's public, but our salaries are published in the yearbook, are they not?
Yeah. Yeah. So the good news is the executive in Shining Waters and I are having extensive conversations around a proposal around that very topic. So the statistic books aren't actually published anymore. So yeah, just the people's addresses and everything. And so I'm negotiating with the general counsel office. They were like, please, for the love of God, don't bring a proposal. So I'm right now negotiating with, I could do it on behalf of both regional councils if you want. But yeah, it's a push point because for communities of faith around salaries, they sort of want to, if they're negotiating with a minister, they sort of want to know what the market is. And for ministers, when they're negotiating, they sort of want to know what the market is. I mean, go secular, right? I never negotiated. I never did either. I just went, okay. Yeah, I know. I know, but some ministers do negotiate. I never did. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, thanks. And I love you guys so much. Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's quite a debate. The reason is a particular, I know we're not Canadian Shield, but in Shining Waters, the cost of living in Toronto is so expensive. Like, you know, when people see a salary of $120,000, if you live in downtown Toronto, you might actually be not living in a little tiny apartment and not, that's why I tell them to move up to the north. And that is the God honest truth. I'm telling you the truth. So yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. And we're thinking about putting salaries on the, on Church Hub for, cause then communities of faith can look at them. And then coming back to Helen's comment, we're talking about maybe putting the pastor relations minutes under a passcode, and then everybody can look at them if they have the passcode. It's just that it has to do with human rights and putting people's salaries for the world to look at. So someone in Australia with those 100 snakes can look at your salary and, and Rob's brother in Australia could see what Rob made. So, and we don't want that, I tell you. So he never let me at the mic because once I start talking.
Thank you, Peter. Marty, you'd like to come to the microphone?
I did find it.
Your name, please?
Marty Mumford, Trinity Lively. I did find it. It wasn't easy, but I'm wondering if pastoral relations could do, like, I understand Helen and I understand me. We don't know if somebody's retired or moved. As the support to communities of faith, we don't know until we get the approved minutes, and that just comes to me.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And the minutes like a book.
Yeah. So I'm wondering
Yeah.
if changes in pastoral relations could be a summary. Like there'd be a summary of changes in pastoral relations.
Okay.
I'm just suggesting
Yeah.
a little like, so-and-so's gone to halftime, so-and-so's retired, so-and-so's moved, because as communities of faith, we support
Okay.
to communities of faith. We often get that information. We meet quarterly with the joint commissions, the 3 commissions meet, but that's quarterly.
Yeah.
And I understand the need. We don't have a gossip line anymore.
Okay. Thanks, Marty. So we have any more? That's a great suggestion. Any more comments to the motion on the floor? John Watson, our parliamentary.
John Watson, Westminster, Thunder Bay. In order to resolve this, we might, as the Pastoral Relations Committee, when we're dealing with appointments and we're dealing with the salaries and benefits, the commission may need to go in camera, and therefore the area or the document that we're dealing with doesn't become part of the minutes, and we make a decision about somebody being appointed, but the area that talks about the pay and the benefits aren't recorded in the minutes because we went in camera. And
Okay.
that might be a way to deal
That
with it.
might be an option. Yeah, option. So I'll send that back to your commission and back to our executive minister. To the motion on the floor. Any more discussion? And I'm wondering if we can read it before we vote. Oh. I am. I'm so gone right now. No, yes, forgot. We still have this capacity. Okay, ready? This is a motion by Helen Smith and seconded by Bill Stedman that the Canadian Shield Regional Council post the minutes of all committees and commissions on the website in a timely manner as is legally possible. All right. So we have Diana as our scrutineer. All those in favor, simply raise your hands. Yeah, we need a count just to make sure. All right. Hey, you can put your hands down. Those who still have their hands up. Caitlin, good. So we've counted those opposed to the motion as I read it. Any opposed? Hands up. Okay. You got that? And finally, any abstaining on the motion? Any abstentions? Got that? And now we need the online folk. Yes. So the Donna would have put a poll, a yes, no, or abstain. So we're just waiting to hear back. I wonder if we can put them on the screen, the online. We don't forget. Oh, there you are. Hello, everyone.
So we also have the record of proceedings on the website? So that's everything. That's
Right.
minutes, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All
Diana?
minutes, yeah.
The vote is 62 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
Okay, so I declare that motion to be carried. Thank you. And then we heard the comment from John Watson. You're going to talk to your commission and talk to Peter about some guidance on that as it evolves, about how much you can publicly declare when it comes to salaries. Is there any other new business? Sort of jumped into our heart. Okay. All right. Anything else from Peter? You were making a comment as I had turned my head. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, all I was saying is that, so on the website, and we can try to make it easier to find, there's both the executive minutes, the record of proceedings. So to use our jargon, the record of proceedings has everything that ever was printed in a book, and you can read it. It's probably 200 pages long with all the minutes. And then not only that, if you're curious about the work of the transition team, all the minutes are there too.
Okay.
Yep.
That would be a historical record as we reflect on how we started and where we are now. And maybe some of the lessons we've learned along the way. You can. Okay. It's good that we don't have much more to do because we know that people will want to check out and do all that before worship begins. So we now are going to hear from the equity support team and followed by courtesies from the local arrangements. And I have a final thought to share before we disperse, if we need to, and or settle in before the hordes arrive for worship.
Yeah.
And this is Whitney Bruno.
Good morning. I'm Whitney Bruno from Little Current United Church Pastoral Charge on Manitoulin Island. I'm representing the equity team this morning. So statistically, we are awed at the statistics. There has been a lovely blend of those who are ordered and not ordered, both of you serving in your ministries. Among the speakers have been both. The speakers have been pretty split among genders and among ages. So kudos to all of you. Next year, we are wondering, what would it be like if we had pronouns on our name tags? And what would it be like if this was a ramp instead of steps? And so, thank you for continuing to work on inclusion.
So thank you to our equity support team of Whitney Bruno, Torin Mogg, and Brad Middleholtz, and also to all of you, because it is a full council responsibility. And I'm hoping that you perhaps maybe wrote down those equity aspirations, then take them back to your communities of faith and perhaps start thinking about them not only at your council meetings, but perhaps your congregational meetings and just in the way you interact with people. These are good things to become part of our DNA. All right. And now I'm going to call on the local arrangements group for courtesies. That's again, Kathy Smith and Helen Smith.
Well, good morning, everyone. Before we get into courtesies, just a couple of final announcements. There's an online evaluation. You can go to the website. I think you get to that online evaluation through the meeting button. So please complete those. Oh, by the way, my name is Kathy Smith, believe it or not. And I'm from St. Andrews, one of the many St. Andrews out of Sturgeon Falls. Woohoo! Woohoo! And so the other announcement is now, don't forget about the allyship, June 23rd. You can check this out. This must be someplace on the website where they can just type in Allyship 101, maybe. Hopefully we can get that on there. And then just to mention about the display, that display that was in the other room, it is a display documenting the Black history within the United Church of Canada. They are going on the road. They are going to be in Thunder Bay. Sean Redden is taking that. There she is over there. And Blessing is, and Desire. They're all taking that over there. It's going to be hosted at St. Paul's. And so our Regional Justice Minister, Sean Redden, will probably be reaching out to all of the communities of faith to invite them to come and see that exhibit. She'll work that out. Is that how that's working, Sean? Okay, so she wants the Thunder Bay United Churches to work in collaboration to get in lots of people to view the display and participate and evaluate that. So thank you, Sean and Desire and Blessings for taking that over. I just better check if I got one more here. No, I think I'm good. Do we have any more? Oh, flowers. Again, we have lots of flowers left. So if you want to get a bouquet of flowers to take home, please do so at the end. And there's also seeds and a little bit of chocolate. So help yourself. Yeah. Okay. So right off the bat, we absolutely want to extend courtesies to this front table, to Chair Nancy Ferguson, to our Executive Minister, Peter Hartmans, and to our administrative expert, Sue Whitehead. Thank you. And we also want to thank the planning team. So that includes Bill Jones, Stuart Walker, Diane Matheson Jimenez, Sue and Peter as well. So let's give them a hand.
There are many volunteers who make this happen. A few that we must thank are Diane Tate, Alice Hartmans, Rusty Healy, Catherine Hugel, Marion Avery, Barb Reed, Linda Coulter, Jennifer Phillips, Jose Jimenez Peralta, Felix Jimenez, and Jose Jimenez. And without them, this facility wouldn't look like it did today. So thank you so much. And also to our parliamentarian, John Watson. Thank you, John, for everything, but especially for helping me out of the mud there.
We also want to say a special thank you to our chaplains, Reverend James Coe and Holly Clemenson, who isn't with us today, and our equity support team. Torrin Mogg is also not with us. He had to go to Thessalon, to his church, and Reverend Whitney Bruno and Brad Middleholtz. We give a round of applause for them. Thank you.
And to the people that really set the tone for this meeting, the music team, Deanna Hannaford-Wilcox, Blessing Terepi, and Faye Moffat, and all the wonderful voices here.
And of course, to our theological reflectors, to Reverend Kathy Dahmer and to Reverend Ted Harrison. It is always wonderful. They share personal things that we can relate to. So thank you for those reflections. Woo!
We are blessed to have had so many from General Council visiting with us and sharing in our meetings and sharing their wisdom, their humor, their insights. Especially to the Right Reverend Dr. Kimberly Heath, our moderator, to Reverend Cameron Fraser, Reverend Melody Duncanson Hales. Thank you.
Oh, there's more. Oh, we have to say a special thank you to our archives expert, Kyle Pugh. He dolled himself up this morning just for me, he said. but I'm sure that he's going to be getting some business from lots of us around here. You want to carry on?
And to the Shining Waters Regional Council President Eric Nakarako, who was with us on Friday, was it? I don't know what day of the week it is, but it was great to hear from him about Shining Waters and to hear their greetings. To the bookroom staff from Grand River, Pat, what would we do without Pat? And her assistant, Nancy Risto.
And to some of our resource teams, to the Right Relations team for bringing the game, the truth in truth and reconciliation. Thank you for sharing that with folks that gathered here. And to our Affirming Resource team and Peter Hatto for the educational sessions that you provided. Thank you.
I think Canadian Shield has the most amazing of all the regional council staffs. And so we thank Peter Hartmans, Diane Matheson Jimenez, Susan Whitehead, Jody Maltby, Miranda McKenzie, Rob Smith, Sean Redden, Donna Rutz, Kathleen Jones, Celio de Andrade Santos Jr. Thank you for just always being here for us.
Thank you for that, Ted. I believe that that's going to come after from Diane. And I'm just going to give a little hint. There's a lady who is always here from the old Sudbury Presbytery who you can count on to do anything. It's Marty. Where would we be? She actually offered, oh, you see, I knew you did. I see we had it covered, but thanks, Ted.
I want to say,
she wants
if you ever need minutes for everything going back as long as Marty's been part of Regional Council Presbytery, call Marty.
That's true. That's true. And we'd also like to thank Willow Grove United Church for hosting the ministry personnel retreat. And for this, the people, the staff at this hotel were incredible. They were so accommodating and they were wonderful. So we lost. That's what I was going to do.
And, oh, sorry, my partner in crime here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to every one of you here and to those online and to those who provided for those online, to all our technical support, for everybody gathered in this room. Without each of us here, this meeting isn't the meeting it has been. Thank you so much.
Celio? So the reason I'm asking if we could see, if they can see us, can they see us? No. Oh. Okay, so what we do is we do a big wave. We do this every week at my own church. We wave to the folks that are joining us online. So if you can't see us, please know we are giving you the wave. There you go.
It is my privilege to extend courtesies to those who have extended courtesies earlier. If you have worked with Marty, Helen, and Kathy, you have experienced the dream team. Thinking I was quite clever, I'd say, maybe you haven't thought of this yet. And before the sentence finished, they said, Diane, we dealt with that a week ago. Of course you did. If this weekend you felt comfortable, warmly welcomed, if you had a problem that was solved before you had time to express it thoroughly, it is because of the work of Marty, Helen, and Kathy. And so on behalf of all of us, I wish to say thank you so very much for all you did to ensure the success of this weekend.
Oh, thank you.
Hartmans to come to the microphone. Our executive minister.
Last but not least, in the congratulations, we did thank the chair within the courtesies, but I also thank the chair a little more formally within the context of my role as executive minister, from the executive, from you as a court, from the regional council, and from the United Church of Canada. You have served us well, Nancy. You're an excellent chair. With actually all the chairs I ever have, I think are excellent, and you have proven that theme to continue. I love your skill, your attentiveness to detail, your willingness to pick up the phone when you see I'm phoning and go, "Oh my gosh, what's he phoning for?" So she has call display too. So, oh, great, it's Peter. Yeah, that's nice. And I don't know if you follow our nominations very carefully, but we actually extended her term for a year so that we could install Bill in person, because we thought that it was a nice gesture. And if we never did that change, we'd always be installing our chairs online. So even though it seems minor, we felt it was really important to install our chair in person at our in-person meetings. So that meant Nancy said, actually quite generously, I will do another year. And Bill quite generously said, I will wait another year. And so it meant you did an extra year that you weren't planning on. And that is an example of your generosity of time and energy and spirit, and most of all, sense of call in serving both your local community of faith, the Regional Council, and the United Church of Canada. I also want to make a special thank you to your community of faith, Emmanuel. Yay! Because even though we swear it's not going to have any consequence to the local community of faith, there's an energy and a splitting of gifts and skills between the parish and being chair. I think there's some benefits that come from it that are quite lovely, but it's also a sacrifice for the community of faith. So I want to say thank you to both you and your community of faith for sharing you with us. You have been a joy to work with, and we will continue to work with you on executive. Nancy tried to say at the last executive she was done. I was like, oh, no, actually not. So yeah, that's the way we do things in the church. She has one more year. She serves as past chair. So on behalf of the executive, the regional council, the folks that are here today in the United Church of Canada, we give you a small gift of gratitude. Thank you. And a deep sense of thank you. And if you're a detail person, you're like, what'd you give her? So historically, it's not a surprise to her. So historically, I used to pick the gift. I am not a good gift picker. So after a few years, my awesome, wise administrator said to me, executive administrator said to me, maybe you might actually want to talk about it with them. And I gingerly have been doing that. And that's actually been quite successful. So the people actually get something they want. So we actually gave her actual money because she had her eye on something. So if you want to ask her what it was, that's fine. But I said, we'll do anything, So sometimes people get art, or something special. Or I said, maybe you want money for a trip or something. She's not going on a trip. Don't worry. No, but that was the conversation. So it's less of a surprise to her, but the thank you is a surprise to her because she didn't know we were doing this right now. So.
Here we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. It has been an indeed a joy. And I just want to share this words of wisdom I received from a colleague when I was first settled. Now, some of you know what that means. For some, that's a new concept. But in the old days, when you were first ordained or commissioned, you were sent somewhere. You had some say, but like you had to say yes, but you had some say, but usually it's all anyway. I ended up on the North Shore of Lake Superior in two towns, Terrace Bay and Scriber. And I was the second longest serving minister. I was there for 4.5 years. One of the communities was a little bit, well, it was a community church, which meant it had some uniqueness about it. We'd talk about amalgamation. We're talking about doing church in new ways. When the town was built, which was only supposed to be a temporary town, a lot of these resource towns on the North Shore were just temporary. They were going to cut all the trees down, turn it into pulp, and move on to the next bush. But to their surprise, they were still there 50 years later. They had a cemetery and people were retiring. But when the town, Kimberly-Clark, built the paper mill, they also built one Protestant church and one Catholic church. So we had that right from the beginning, 50 years, well, now 70 years ago, they had that real challenge of how do we have all these Protestant denominations together? And it was an interesting ride. But I was there for that length of time. But when I arrived, David Giuliano, who is now a former moderator, was serving in Marathon. That was his settlement charge. He stayed his entire ministry in Marathon, well, except for those little blips when he was moderator. And he said to me, the first words he said to me within my first week of arriving was, "Nancy, find ways to get out of the community." In other words, get involved in the wider church because it gets you out of the local into the wider spectrum of the church to have a different vision. And you bring that back into your local context. So I got involved in presbytery, then I became chair of presbytery, so I was in Winnipeg a lot. And then that's continued. I've taken that to heart, and everywhere I've been, it's like you need to get involved because it's your way of seeing the broader vision of the church, not only inside our walls, but beyond the United Church. So I just share those wise words of wisdom now 30 years later to those who are here. It's been a joy to be involved in different ways in our church. Lately, I've been drawn to the work of Eleanor Hamilton. Those at Emmanuel will be familiar with that name because time to time I'll share some of her poetry. But during Lent, she published a book called From Ash to Alleluia. And she's a parish priest in Presbyterian Church in Dumbarton, Scotland. So it made its way all the way to Canada. And she wrote a poem for after Easter. Now, I know we're in Pentecost, but I think the sentiment holds true in this season after Easter, in this sense that we're filled with the Spirit to go and be the church. So these are the words she wrote. It's entitled After Easter. The lilies fade, the alleluias quiet. The calendar turns the page and calls it ordinary time. We pack away the extra candles, fold the white cloths, return to routines that didn't disappear just because the tomb was empty. Bills still arrive. News still breaks our hearts. The world still aches in familiar places. And yet, something has shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, but enough. We carry resurrection not as an event we revisit once a year, but as a way of walking that hard road. We speak with a little more hope than the situation allows. We choose compassion when cynicism would be easier. We keep showing up because love has already gone ahead of us. Resurrection doesn't mean everything is suddenly fixed. It means death no longer decides how the story ends. We live now as people who know that loss is not final, that light still breaks through stone, that love survives even the worst the world can do. Ordinary time begins, but nothing is truly ordinary once we've seen what God does with endings. We go back to our lives, not unchanged, but accompanied resurrection people learning again how to live. May it be so. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.